Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Double Stuff podcast, where we're double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Alan.
And I'm Sarah.
I'm Charity.
And I'm Dan.
And guess what? We have a treat for you today, because in our exploration of all things educational, today we landed on art. And luckily, I happen to know an artist, and she's my wife. Her name is Mac. Hello, Mac.
Hello, everyone.
Yay.
Hello.
So excited she's here.
Yeah, we have
Excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
we got a guest in the midst.
We do. And seeing as we're on the topic of art, what are your bona fides? Take us back to
Ooh.
your first introduction into art.
Well, I was born into the arts. Both my parents are artists and architects by trade.
Ooh.
So I don't think I had a choice.
Oh, okay.
It's in her blood.
Yeah.
And you pursued art all throughout your career, or?
Yes, I knew from the beginning that I wanted to be an artist. Not an art teacher, which I am now, but I did know that I wanted to be an artist.
Oh, very good.
Mhm.
Okay. And so where did you go to art school?
I went to the same art school that you did.
That's true. That's where I met her.
Oh.
That's where I
How
met her.
quickly you forget.
What a coincidence.
That's true.
She got education and a husband. Man, I did it wrong.
I was like, I did it wrong too. I don't know if I need to go back to school.
Yeah, I
or
know. I got to
something.
do this again.
But you were studying studio art and fine art.
Yes, and my undergrad is in studio art with an emphasis in graphic design,
Mhm.
and then I worked in the field for a while. I was a double major first with childhood education
Ah,
and
Wow.
art.
So you're still doing that because you're teaching.
Yes,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I dropped the. Oh man, that's such a loaded question. I dropped the childhood education because I just wanted to create.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mhm.
necessarily want to teach.
right.
But to make money, I always taught on the side.
Yeah, it's true.
So
It's usually how it goes.
I always came back to it.
Yeah.
What grade do you teach?
Currently, I'm teaching K through 5th.
Oh, that's a big age group that you've got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I've taught all, including higher ed and
Mm-hmm.
junior high and high school.
So you
and-
can basically do everything, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
in a modest way.
Yeah, it's
She can
true.
she can do it all.
That's true. So
yes.
now that we've kind of raced through your career path and have landed you where you currently are as a elementary art teacher, what's been how long have you been doing that?
Oh, well, let's see. You and I met when I was getting my MFA
Right.
in painting, and I was teaching at an after school collaborative
Mm-hmm.
art program in San Francisco that I absolutely loved, and I was the lead educator there.
Ooh.
I don't remember how long I taught there, maybe 3 years or something.
Could be.
It's been a while.
We went back in time. I meant like currently in
Oh.
space.
Well, yes, I know. I was getting there.
Okay. That's all
I'm
right.
just trying to do the math.
Okay.
You got to do the build up to the
Oh,
story.
Yes.
All right.
Chill out.
Get to the end. Get to the end.
See, now I feel like I have to be like marriage counselor to intermediate
I know,
between.
yeah, we want you to stay married after this episode.
we will.
Yeah, we better.
So I taught elementary there for a while. Then I taught higher ed, and now I'm back into elementary.
Yeah.
But currently at Space, this will be my second year
Ah.
teaching there. Yes.
Very good.
Mhm.
And as far as I don't want you to pick a favorite. I know that you said that you're K through 5th grade. I don't want you to pick a favorite grade, but you can just wink, wink. Is there a favorite grade?
Wink, wink. There might be.
Okay.
But wink, wink, she won't say.
Her students might be listening, so we
Yeah,
can't divulge
exactly.
information.
Yeah, I don't want to pick favorites.
And my principal. So.
Exactly.
Well, I know you're very artistic and you're very good at what you do because both of your girls are very artistic and they
Yeah.
do also they
They
draw
are
and
pretty
color. And,
creative.
yeah. So
Yes.
it's obviously remained in the family.
Yes, since I married an artist, I think we prioritize that as well in all aspects of arts.
Because we both are in the arts, we're very understanding of projects that go on pause. And so we're very patient with each other on our projects that are on pause. And I have several. And so,
And I have several,
so
and
it's
the
a good
girls
thing
have
that,
several.
Yeah, so it's a good thing that she understands that sometimes projects just need a while to, ruminate. And
Yes,
A few years,
and marinate. And
sometimes.
yes, so with our girls, we really haven't taught them all the theories that go into art. I mean, a few. Now that they're a little bit older, we talk about it, but
Formally, when we've taught them,
yes,
but not in a formal set down.
Right. So we usually just kind of, here's a bunch of stuff, create. And
But that is what art is. It's the
Mhm.
exploration of it and coming up with
Yes, so-
stuff that's outside the box.
right. And as a matter of fact, they have taught me a few things that I didn't even think about. For example, our youngest, Audrey, was working with Model Magic, Crayola Model Magic.
Oh, we used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's
it's
fun
fun.
stuff. My students
Mhm.
absolutely love it. So
Except when we burn it in the oven when you have to let it cook.
not Model Magic. You don't
No,
burn.
that's-
Oh,
Model
that's the other
Magic.
one.
You're
One that
thinking
gets
of
in a big
Fimo
bucket.
clay
Fimo
and
clay.
yeah, polymer clay is what you're
That's
thinking
probably
about.
why I failed. I had them mixed up. Yeah.
Project taste burn.
That or combust in the
Wait, why
flames.
does it taste burnt? Why are you eating clay?
Yeah.
Wait, why are you
You
eating
know, it's
clay?
a work of art if it's edible.
It's delicious.
We work with all our senses. No, so she was working with Model Magic, and Model Magic kind of has the feel of marshmallows. It's very soft and airy.
I
It's
remember
not
that.
sticky
Mhm.
though, and you can color it with Crayola markers, which is a lot of fun. But she made a bunch of charms: mermaid tails, pizza, big giant
Teeth.
lips. I mean, she was just going
Yeah,
bananas
she made
with
like
it.
a tooth that was holding. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't a tooth. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Audrey. It was a fortune cookie.
Yes.
It looked like
They look almost the same.
I forgot.
It's an easy mistake,
I know.
right?
No,
The only reason why teeth stuck out was I was looking. I was like, "Who lost a tooth, and why is it brown?" And then I was looking at it. I was like,
It looks
wait,
like a
that's-
fortune cookie.
"That's one of Audrey's charms." Okay.
Your recall is amazing.
Yeah.
yeah. So with Audrey's fortune cookie, she actually brought me all of them, and they were shiny. And Model Magic isn't shiny, so I said, "How did you get it so shiny? It looked like a glaze on top." And she says, "Well, I used clear glue, Mom, and I
Mhm.
didn't even think
Oh.
about that." So that
Mhm.
was something that she came up with in her exploration, and that's really the philosophy I have in my classroom as well: is let people make mistakes and learn from it, and if we can't find a solution, then try something else. And that's kind of how I go about my classroom.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool because it's oddly kind of parallel to the way me and Charity and our other sister Christy grew up. Very similar because our mom is an artist. We grew up with her. We did so many arts and crafts and talking about like adding the glue to the glaze, like we did that. So we did a lot of the stuff that your girls are doing.
Well, and we even used art as a way to learn other subjects. So
Yes.
if we were trying to do math, you draw a picture of, four
Right.
apples plus 4 apples, or if we're memorizing
Mhm.
something, you're drawing, stick people with hand motion. Like you had to see it in a picture first, which is
Yeah.
how we learned. So you're still using art to learn other things.
Yes, and art is inherently it has everything in it. It has engineering, it has history, it has math, it has science.
Mhm.
I just, it's kind of like hiding vegetables in a kid's meal. They don't know it's there, but it's there. And
That's a very good example.
Yeah.
And,
You know?
and you've used that also to tie in relationships with other instructors in the school too,
Yes,
to
I have.
support each other, so where they
Right.
can say, "Remember when you're in Miss Atha's class, you did this," and then vice versa, right?
Yes, I have partnered with some teachers. The several projects, but the one that comes to mind is last year the third graders were learning about fractions, and so we did art with circles, and primary colors were whole circles, and secondaries were half or quarters, and so they created.
Gosh, where were you
stuff.
20 years ago?
I know.
used you so bad.
I know.
In art school with Alan.
Yeah.
That's where I
I
was.
know. I'm like feeling the jealousy rise as not having you as a teacher.
Well, and like I said again, because my mom, she teaches art and she does it for elementary mainly, mainly kindergarten to 5th, 6th grade. She has done stuff for even like toddlers and stuff too. So because I always talk to her about it, because she likes to teach them, like, to simplify something that might be a little bit more complex. So since you've learned different mediums, digital art and more traditional painting and modeling and whatever, that kind of stuff, to show at least the younger kids how to do something more than just here's paper and a crayon, to show them different, like how do you simplify that?
Well, I think that comes with experience, really, and trial and error and learning. Okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else, and just really building relationships with the students is the very first thing that's paramount. You have to build relationships with the students so you can learn how to communicate with them. Before I can introduce anything, they need to feel safe with me. But I have to add that I'm an artist first. Even though I studied a little bit of child development, I didn't finish that degree. I finished my arts degree first and then went on to graduate school to be an artist and exhibited as well.
You've done exhibits?
I have.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, during our wedding weekend, I had an art show opening that I couldn't go to.
Yeah.
Man.
We're getting married
So
instead.
that's a good excuse.
Yeah.
And I will say, even though you didn't finish your degree, you are a mother.
I was going to say,
you still have that education.
on the job training.
Yeah, you created it yourself, that you now have that education still. So.
Yeah.
Well, but I was teaching before we had children, and that actually helped me with being a mom on how to communicate with children. That's really important too. We have to remember, okay, they're this age and they should be doing this at this stage. So it really has helped to be in education and then be a parent.
Now, just to dip our toes into politics, maybe, but just throughout education history, it always seems that there's a push for the arts, and then it's also one of the first things that gets cut.
I was going to
well.
mention that, yeah.
Yeah. So
and music too, which is
Yes.
still a form of
It's
the
still
arts.
art, yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. So what do you feel as is it something that can be cut?
Well, obviously, I'm a little biased. I don't think it should be cut.
That's the right answer.
That's
the right answer.
Obviously.
There's 4 other artists in here that agree with you.
Yeah, of course.
Gold star.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much data and research to support the arts and in education, just arts integrated. Like the school I taught in San Francisco, I was arts integrated, and learning how what you were saying, Charity, a minute ago was, we draw our math problems, and that's how I figure things out. It's like, hold on, I have to draw it first on pen and paper or pencil and paper, that sort of thing. So, and it helps, and I let my students doodle while I'm teaching. They have a dry erase marker and they can draw on the table while I'm teaching, and they remember. Students actually remember more when they're doodling than just taking notes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's actually something my mom showed me, because she's worked with like special needs, autistic, and so they sometimes, depending on their level, they can't just sit and stare at you in a classroom and, learn the information in a regular way that another student would do it. And so, doodling or maybe learning how to draw your feelings out when you can't express it in words, so that's another form of art that's probably a more practical way than just, we're painting a picture for a museum. Like, this is something that a person needs for their life.
Yeah.
That's a good point too, and I wanted to bring that up. So we've been talking about mostly the arts in the classroom. How important is it to support the arts outside of the classroom, like within
huge.
your municipality or
Huge.
Okay.
Absolutely. when we moved out here, I grew up in Southern California, so going to museums, we did that all the time. Grew up going with my parents to various museums on the weekends. We would go regularly. So when we moved out here, I was pleasantly surprised that there are so many museums and the arts are pretty dominant here in Wichita. So just supporting the arts so that we can continue it with our generation, with our children, but also arts is how you learn about civilizations and cultures and so on. So it carries on our history.
I say especially from COVID last year, everybody binge watched Netflix, which, as we all know in media, making movies and YouTube videos, that type of stuff is still a form of art. And, people didn't get a chance to perform their tours and they lost money that way. So musicians and songwriters and movie theaters, so the arts, I think if people didn't know it up till now, it's an important part of our lives because I don't think people would have survived. They would have survived literally, but they wouldn't have gotten through lockdown
would
last
have been
year.
More stressful. I mean,
I think that you put a good point. You can survive without the arts, but the arts give the reason to live, the meaning to live.
Well, but everything we touch that's man-made is created by someone. You need to have creativity to make the fonts that we use, these microphones we're speaking into, the computer that we're looking into, the movies, the TV shows,
and maybe
all of that, the clothes we wear, everything. I mean, whether it's good design, that's another topic for another
That's part two.
But everything we touch is created by someone. So it's just, it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere.
Oh, using words and everything. That's what I tell my students too. I'm like, we kept the world sane last year, and that's not an exaggeration.
Right.
So very important stuff. Now, I know you can't give favoritism as to who your favorite class is, but do you have a favorite medium of art you like to work with?
No, and that's why I teach.
Oh, really? So you're open to whatever, like digital and traditional.
I'm like, ooh, art. Boom, when I switch, it's like, oh, squirrel. I switch.
I love it.
I cannot decide. As a matter of fact, quick anecdote. When I applied for graduate school, the recruiter asked me what my media was, and I said mixed. I like working it all, and he says, well, then you're not passionate enough. And I hung up the phone on him.
Good.
And then I called back and talked to someone else, and the rest is history.
You should have known better. I don't accept that answer.
I don't accept that answer. Obviously, I didn't accept it. But no, I like doing a little bit of everything, illustration, painting, ceramics, sewing, fibers, textile, anything really. And I'm actually the last generation that did everything by hand. So digital was really something that I learned on the job.
Okay.
Yep. We're not measuring in picas anymore.
We're not.
I mean, I guess you could if you still want to. It's still an option in Photoshop, but it's kind of ironic, I guess.
Instead of your ruler to picas.
Well, and that's cool because I know you mentioned like digital art, and I used to do a lot of traditional art until I was exposed to the digital stuff. So I personally enjoy doing digital illustration because I like the non-destructive element of it. So that way, if you do make a mistake, you can erase it. I mean, I know that's sometimes you embrace the mistakes, but I kind of like the fact that I can undo.
Take a risk, pick up a pencil.
Yeah.
I'm completely incapable of doing that, apparently.
There's erasers. Sketchbook.
That's the analog control Z.
With sketch, you can't do that when you're trying to do a Bob Ross thing. Like, oh man, I messed up that happy little tree. I can just erase it.
There's no mistakes. There's only
happy accidents.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, is there
mistakes are how we learn, Sarah.
That's right.
That's true.
Well, is there anything that you'd like to leave us with, our audience with, on the way out? Is there any words of encouragement if we have a listener that perhaps likes art or enjoys scrolling through other people's art?
Well, if you've ever... If you are one to say, I can't draw, I can only do stick people, I would say you can't draw yet. and have that growth mindset. There's the educator part of me coming out. Just start, and you will be surprised at how good you can get. But I strongly suggest start on paper first. Learn those skills, because if you just go straight to digital, you'll be able to notice, or us trained artists will be able to notice that your skills aren't that great in digital. So get those hand to pencil skills.
Even in digital, you're still kind of drawing sometimes.
Yes, you are. Yes, I draw.
Tablet and,
I draw on my iPad all the time.
Yeah.
And it saves a lot of time, actually. So, yes.
Well, this has been a fantastic talk, and I really appreciate you stopping by our Double Stuff Studios to join us today. And if you'd like to re-listen to this episode or to any other episodes, Sarah's going to let you know where you can find them.
Thanks, Alan. If you want to listen to all of our new episodes, they're available on all the major podcast platforms. All of the other episodes are archived on our website at doublestuffpod.com. Check us out on our social media at Facebook and Instagram at Double Stuff Podcast, and on Twitter at Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P.